So what are some common misconceptions about Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? I'm gonna go over them right now. My name is Teyssier, and this is Road to Closed Quick Hacks. So one of the big misconceptions is Pittsburgh is an old, dirty city. It is old, it's an old city, just like Boston, New York, or one of the founding cities of the East Coast. But dirty, not so much. Back in the steel mill era, which was way back, maybe 50, 60 years ago, the city was in bad shape. I wasn't around that time, so I can't speak from experience, thank God, but I have seen photos. I've toured the city. You can see some of the buildings that had soot on it from all that, but the steel mills have been gone for probably 40 years. So they've had time to clean everything up. I can tell you there's a lot of green space out there now since that has, since the transfer has taken place, and that's the old steel mill soot and all that has gone away. Green parks have come up. Point State Park is huge, not physically in acreage, just huge as far as a draw, a lot of green space. There's, dog parks are a thing lately, a big deal. So with a lot of dog parks popping up. South Side has some. There's all kind of parks in the east part of Pittsburgh. North Side has a beautiful park I've done multiple videos on as well. So the first misconception is the city is dirty. No longer are we dirty. Second misconception is Pittsburgh is only a blue-collar town. Now, Pittsburgh is still a partially blue-collar town, but we have a lot of white-collars. Tech investments coming in, so Facebook has an office here. Carnegie Mellon, which if you don't know Carnegie Mellon University, it's not a huge campus, a huge school, but it's really tough to get in there. You've got to be really smart. So those people that get in usually go out in the tech field, so they may have been a partial creator of companies like Facebook and Uber and all those places, and they remember Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh is becoming kind of a small tech hub as well. And that's also because the cost of living here is a lot less expensive than Silicon Valley and places like that. So we do have multiple companies that are in Pittsburgh. I know Uber is one of them, Facebook, Argo is here for a while. And that's turning into more of a white collar. But even that, nowadays the kids dress like this. You can be next to a brainiac CEO of a company at a coffee shop wearing this, and he wouldn't be in a white collar. So, I think the blue collar, white collar monikers should probably even be changed to like a t-shirt. Because again, millionaires do wear just t-shirts nowadays. They don't like wearing white collar outfits, suits, etc. So the third misconception isn't bad or good, and that might be the misconception that we're close to Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is kind of close to New York City, and they're close to New Jersey, Atlantic City. It's an entire state away. So Pittsburgh's over here, and over here you have a whole bunch of hot spots, which is Philadelphia. It's gonna be a good 6 hours away. Atlantic City, Washington, DC, New York City. So there are times when people will take short vacations over to there, but it's not just a hop, skip, and a jump away. So that's misconception 4 about Pittsburgh. We're actually closer to Cleveland, which there are lakes up there. Erie, about 3 hours away. Lakes up there. I'm talking about for summer vacations or staycations, if you want to call them, little slight getaways, etc. Columbus is about 4.5, maybe 5 hours away as well. Same as Cincinnati. Misconception number 4 is Pittsburgh has nothing to do after 6 p.m. Nothing clean to do. That's not true. We have Heinz Hall, the Cultural District, the Benedum Center, Station Square, and Southside, which all come alive at night, and in a good way. There's a lot of activities. We're in a seasonal market, so mostly in the summer times we have arts festivals, the furries, all kinds of different events which come to the David L. Lawrence Convention Center as well. So there's a lot of things to do here at night. Our restaurant scene has dramatically improved through COVID. It's become even a little bit of a foodie town. We have sports, Penguins, Pirates, Steelers, and lately gaining momentum is our semi-professional soccer, the Riverhounds. PNC is probably our best park, but I would say the Riverhounds Highmark Field is like a 1B. So 1A would be PNC, 1B would be Riverhound Stadium. And the reason for that is PNC is an open-end stadium where you can see the city no matter where you're sitting, and same with the Riverhounds. You can see a different part of the city. It's amazing. So there's a lot of stuff to do after 6 p.m. Misconception number 5 is that all Pittsburghers are Steelers, Pirates, and Penguin fans and Riverhound fans. That is a misconception. There might be like 2% of the population that is not a Steelers fan. All the other Steelers fans have killed off, murdered those people that move in and are Ravens fans or Cincinnati Bengals fans or Browns fans. I'm just kidding. But Pittsburgh fans tend to travel out of the city a lot more than other fans will travel into Pittsburgh. I've been to many Steeler games, and I will tell you there aren't very many competitors' jerseys. And anytime I represent a buyer that comes into Pittsburgh, we always talk about it, and I say, you don't have to become a Steeler fan, and they laugh. And a lot of times when I go out of state, if I have a Steeler shirt on, people be like, oh, you're a Steelers fan? I'm like, you have to when you're born in Pittsburgh. I've been here my entire life, 50 years, almost 51 years. So yes, I'm definitely a Steelers fan. But common misconception is you do not have to be one to survive, though I do recommend it. Okay, so this is a great one, and everybody thinks in the north during the snow season that it's just chaotic. You can't even get out of your house. There's so much snow. That's not true. Not true. Back when I was a kid, again, keep in mind I've been here my whole entire life, so I can speak on this. When I was a kid, maybe because I was a kid, I don't know. It seemed like there was a lot more snow, like snow every day, snow every week. But I can tell you, I'm not going to get into a big global warming conversation, but I can tell you that it seems like we only have, I would say, 2 days a season, a year, where the snow might be so bad that you can't get out of your house the first 3 hours of the day. And that is because whenever we know snow's coming, most townships, most parts of the city and the suburbs will treat the roads ahead of time. And sometimes you get caught. And sometimes it's just so cold, these snow melting elements just don't work. But we're not Minnesota, we're not Buffalo, we're not those extreme north. If you look at us on a map right here, you can see we're about halfway up. So it's only a couple days a year, and you can prepare food, tissues, water, whatever. So that's not really a problem. So that's a big misconception. And every time I represent an out-of-state buyer, when I first meet them, I make sure I tell them that is not true. Okay, one of the last misconceptions is, if you've ever heard of Pittsburgh, not any research come in, we have something called Primanti Brothers. Primanti Brothers has been around since the steel mill era, and they've been making these unique sandwiches. Extremely unhealthy for you. Big loaves of bread, French fries, coleslaw, and whatever meat, egg, whatever you want on it, right? I grew up here again. We would consider drunk food. Like after the clubs at 2 a.m. before we went home, we would go and put that in our belly to soak up all the alcohol. So you either love it or hate it. You know, when I was a kid, I loved it. Oh my God, Primanti's. And if you're not a stater, you might love it for a little while, but now that I've been here for so long, I mean, it's extremely unhealthy. We're trying to get on this health craze. Pittsburgh's done a better job about it. So Primanti's, it's either love it or hate it, but it's a misconception that all Pittsburghers eat there. Actually, it's more of a tourist food, I would say. And building off of that is Heinz ketchup. Their plant is here. I'm staring at it right now from my condo window. Big misconception that we all eat Heinz ketchup. We don't all eat Heinz ketchup. And as a matter of fact, they've been purchased by Brazilian companies. So even though they're just here in Pittsburgh, they're not really Heinz Pittsburgh anymore. I'm Brian Teyssier. That is Road to Close Quick Hacks, and I wanted to dispel some of the misconceptions about Pittsburgh. I'm sure I've missed a couple. If you have a misconception or a conception that may be a misconception, post it below. Agents, feel free to chime in. I'd like to see what you guys think about misconceptions about our beautiful state of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.